Hi, I'm Tess, and I'm going to talk to you all today a little bit about the connection with stress and between stress and academic performance and how I would introduce it into a first year experience course at Temple University. So I broke it up into four categories. The first category is just normalizing and defining stress. Second, giving information about the health consequences physically and emotionally of stress. Third, the connection between stress and academics, so how our mind can affect our body and our body can affect our mind. And then fourth, empowering students to make healthy lifestyle choices, do some self-care, and identify some coping skills that may work for them. So the first category, I'd really want to normalize stress and define it. What I mean by normalize, I mean normalizing that stress is a reaction to new demands. And in college, there's a lot of new demands. There's financial demands, you have demands of relationship, demands of academics, adjustment demands, you have demands with your identity. There's all these new demands coming at young adults, and they are still cognitively developing. They may not want to hear that they're not fully developed, but our brain still develops till they're 24, and a lot of times it's really hard to manage all these new demands. So kind of just normalizing that and identifying and defining what stress actually is really important, I think, when you're talking about stress and introducing it to a class of freshmen. And then I would want to talk, secondly, to students about the health consequences of stress. So what does that look like? It's more than just feeling really stressed. They may notice a disturbance in sleep, a change in appetite, increased blood pressure. They may feel on edge all the time, irritability. What are those health consequences? How can it affect us? Definitely with focus and academic performance, and also some warning signs. So warning signs: increased alcohol and drug use, maybe they're procrastinating, they're avoiding, they're withdrawn. Some warning signs that they can identify, hey, maybe I'm stressed and I need to get some help or make some changes. So I think health consequences are really important when introducing how stress can connect to academic performance in a first year experience class. Third, I would want to talk about the actual connection with stress and academics. So how stress can affect academics, but how academics can also affect stress. So academics is going to be one of those new demands I mentioned earlier that students are going to have a really hard time managing. A lot of times they've never had as many academic priorities and that are this intense. So talking to them about how stress can also lead to procrastination, can decrease your focus, can make you really anxious, can affect your memory, is really important when talking to the connection with stress. And if they're not sleeping, they're doing maladaptive coping skills, then that's really going to affect their academics and they have a risk of retention. Finally, fourth, I would really want to talk to students about empowering them to engage in self-care and defining what self-care is. Intentional self-care, not just I'm going to relax today and watch TV, but setting aside some time for intentional self-care. How important nutrition is, how important exercise is, how important being social and finding something you enjoy as a stress relief. I want them to identify resources on campus, whether it's the counseling center, the writing center, disability services if needed. I really want them to be engaged in the discussion of finding out where these resources are and how they can utilize them. And finally, problem solving. I think that when you're working with first year students, they have had a lot of support before with solving their problems, and the stress of managing academics, it's hard. So you need to sit down, help them identify what a goal is, what their problem is, what their objectives are, and how they can manage academics and their new independence. So I hope that wasn't a little over. I had a lot of breaks. My dog kept coming in, so thank you all so much. And, oh, there he is. Thank you all so much, and I hope to hear more about the position. Bye.